I'm delighted that you're here. This is our first Dean's Series of speakers, bringing prominent business people to campus to speak to you. This is a first in an ongoing series of key business leaders. We have a couple of other events that you should be aware of that may be of relevance to you. On October 23rd, from noon until 2 o'clock, right now in the humanities interdisciplinary room 1400, there will be a panel discussion on the financial meltdown that will involve our finance faculty, economics faculty, and faculty from the New School of Public Policy. So you may want to come and listen to what the faculty have to say about the financial meltdown. And on November the 18th at 4 o'clock, the second of our business leaders, speakers, will be here. That's Cindy Carpenter. Cindy is the site manager of BAE Systems, which is in Ontario. Cindy is a former student here at UCR. And one of her titles, I told her I want this title, one of her titles is Program Coordinator, Electronic Warfare. So it should be very interesting. But this morning we're delighted to welcome John Allen as our speaker. John is the president of Pump Solutions Group, which is a $300 million segment of the Dover Corporation, which is a Fortune 500 corporation. This is some of the largest pump companies in the world are part of the Pump Solutions Group. They include the Wilden Pump, which is just here in Grand Terrace. Some of our students have gone on a tour of that in the past, but there also includes facilities in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, in Germany, in France, and in China. John has traveled extensively for 25 years, doing business in over 60 countries, and I think what you'll hear from him is something about the nature of the global economy and global businesses. He was Wilden Pump's international director in the 80s, and he spearheaded the effort to construct what is now considered to be the industry's strongest channel partner system worldwide. John is fluent in Spanish, although I think you're speaking in English this morning, right? Okay. But he has a deep passion for cultural sensitivity and historic sensitivity, but also a keen sense of international business. John holds a BA in International Affairs from Ohio University and a master's degree from the Thunderbird School of Management. And he's on the advisory council of the Business for Diplomatic Action, whose mission is to embrace or to enhance America's image abroad. And indeed, a part of that group is Keith Reinhardt, who I worked for a number of years ago when we were both at DDB Needham. So I'm going to turn things over to John. After the presentation, we'll have some time for questions and answers. But I'm going to ask John, if in the interest of everybody being able to hear, if you could repeat the question when you hear it, so everybody can hear. With that, John, I'm going to turn things over to you.
Thanks, Dr. Stewart. Appreciate it very much. Make sure we're nice and loud here. We'll make sure people stay awake. And it's a beautiful day. You're inside. You're going to talk about or listen a little bit about global business, and you're obviously well aware as UCR students of the facts on the ground. We're at the precipice of financial disaster and or one of the greatest comebacks in financial history as we sit here today. I'm sure most of you are aware of a little bit of that. I won't speak too much to day-to-day events in finance today. I may get a little bit into that a little bit later if you like. But today I'm going to speak about globalization. And this treatise that I have here, I've been able to perform, if you like, updating it constantly. University of Redlands, UCLA, Thunderbird, which is the American Graduate School of International Management, my alma mater, Many of you may aspire to be a T-bird at some point in time. Also recently at Wharton with a few of my friends and colleagues who have spent some time there, and also at Kellogg, but of course it's currently updated. Why the TNI? Why the New Internationalists? John Cotter wrote a book recently called A Sense of Urgency. It's only about 30 days old, but I would highly recommend it for those who would be interested in international business and business in general. John Cotter from Harvard, and it's called A Sense of Urgency, and he calls everyone born after 1980 the new globalists or new globals. And then you have people World War II and back from there and in all these different, you guys are really already the new globals. You're the first really to be born with a passport, really in your hand. My daughters, I have two daughters, one in college at Northern Arizona, one in high school. They had passports when they were about 6 or 7. And that's rare. I was an American citizen, born and raised like many people in the United States in Ohio. And the idea that I have a passport when I was a young man in the 70s was unheard of. My parents didn't have a passport. In fact, 10% of all non-immigrant born Americans did not have a passport until a few years ago when it became a mandatory process to go to the Caribbean and Mexico. So you are part of the globalization, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, and I'm here to prove that to you today. The picture you see here comes from Business Week. It is from Dubai. It is classic. These people here now are herding camels in front of the place called Dubai, which is the fairyland of the world run by Sheikh Maktoum right now, where they're building Dubai land 5 times the size of Disneyland, with the tallest building in the world, the Burj Hotel and residences, which I just drove by a few weeks ago. It also has the very famous Teflon sail-like hotel called the Burj Al Arab, and you can see the cranes there. There are over 10,000 cranes building buildings right now in Dubai. That's more cranes than there are in the United States in the entirety. So this is what's happening around you, and I hope that you will feel comfortable going into this globalization process because you will be a part of it. I didn't know I'd get such a grandiose introduction, so I do like to put this up just so that you believe that the person in front of you has some street credibility. The worst nightmare is to have a speaker come in. It's a beautiful day. You could be hanging out with your girlfriend or boyfriend, and there's a guy up here. He goes, geez, I don't know if he knows what he's talking about. So you may not like my subject matter, or maybe it's not your bailiwick, something you like to do, but at least I'd like to remind you that this is what I do for a living. I sweat and I live and I breathe being a globalist on a constant basis. These are all the reasons why that is. Dr. Stewart has made that clear. I've also accompanied Governor Schwarzenegger in the last couple of years on his junkets to both Shanghai and Monterrey, Mexico, where he was selling the concept of exporting California. And I got a chance to spend some time with Governor Schwarzenegger. He's a very bright man. Many of you may maybe only know him as the Terminator or as a weightlifter, but he's a very bright guy, and he's fun to be around, and it was a joy to do that.